Nelson Figueroa looks to celebrate his first win as the division rival Cubs come to town. Give us your full attention. Astros and Cubs. It should be out of this world.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, My 20 brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game series with the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Beautiful night for baseball. The roof is open, and the Astros meet the Cubs for the first of 15 meetings this year. JD?
Astros winning the ball game yesterday, but still in search of their first series win. Maybe they can get that done against the Cubs. The bats really came to life over the weekend against the Florida Marlins. On the 6-game road trip, the Astros managed just 44 hits. Over the weekend, 37 hits, including 16 in yesterday's ball game. That's the good news. The bad news, the Astros lost the first 2 games of that series with the Fish, but a nice win yesterday, banging out 16 hits. The guys at the top, Bourne, Sanchez, Pence, really had big days.
Tonight, it's Ryan Dempster for the Cubs. It's Nelson Figueroa. The Astros supported Figueroa with 4 runs in the first at Cincinnati, but the Reds turned around and won it 12-4. Tonight, it's Dempster and Figueroa next. Astros baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Some rain came through this morning. That cleared it out. Low humidity, beautiful skies, nice sunny evening. And it is one of those gorgeous nights for baseball these fans can enjoy. Starting lineup for Mike Quaddy's Chicago Cubs is brought to you by Xfinity. The Cubs are on a 9-game road trip. They lost 2 of 3 in Milwaukee. As they start this series, they go with Starlin Castro at shortstop, Darwin Barney at second base, Marlon Byrd's the center fielder. He's on a 7-game hitting streak. The cleanup man is third baseman Aramis Ramirez, with Carlos Pena at first base, Alfonso Soriano in left field, Tyler Colvin in right field, Giovanni Soto the catcher, Ryan Dempster the pitcher.
And for the Astros tonight, right-hander Nelson Figueroa making his second start of 2011. You look at his numbers from his start on Wednesday in Cincinnati. Defense let him down a little bit. Ultimately, the numbers not good. 5 1/3, 11 hits, 10 runs, 6 of which were earned. Last time he faced this club, it was the final day of the season last year, and he was very good. The defense, Lee Bourne and Pence. Joe Inglett's going to make a start at second base. Bill Hall gets the night off. CJ back in there. He had yesterday off. Quintero back behind the plate for Figueroa. And last time Nelson faced the Cubs, last day of the season, last year, 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs allowed. Just do it again. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and his mound opponent Ryan Dempster is set to go against him again tonight. Figueroa shoots for win number 1 of the year, and it is Castro to lead it off. 333 for Starlin Castro. With no homers, 2 runs batted in, 366 on base average. Has a couple of triples. He can move. One of the exciting young players in the National League, JD.
Yeah, and the youngest player in the major leagues, 21 years of age. Starlin Castro, very talented young player. Can hit, can run. Cover a lot of ground out there at shortstop.
That one goes in the air and foul. 4 balls, 2 strikes.
I guess I should qualify that. All these guys can hit and run. He just does it really well.
Yeah, he's better than most of that.
They wouldn't be out here if they couldn't hit and run a little bit.
Well, he hit and he ran so well. He was the co-National League Player of the Week after going 8 for 13 in the opening weekend of the season. Has 13 hits already. Figueroa misses to take it to 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Cubs lost a tough one yesterday, 6-5 at Milwaukee. And they have been involved in a lot of close ball games this year. They are 6th in the league in runs scored with 38 in 9 games. First of 2 series for them in Houston. The other will be in August. Rolled up the middle and into center field. Castro leads off with a single.
Now, hard to know what the Cubs are going to be this year. They've been down the last couple of seasons, and a number of veterans on their club who seem to be in decline a little bit, but if they're able to play at their peak, this could be a fairly intriguing club.
Darwin Barney has worked his way into the starting lineup quite often this season. 333 with 2 runs batted in. He helped lead Oregon State to an NCAA championship in 2007. There's strike 1 to Barney. Not the tools of a Castro or anything close to Castro's tools, but a very savvy player who plays hard. And he's hit safely in each of his first 4 starts this season, taking some playing time away from Blake DeWitt at second base. Showing bunt that time. Snap throw to first by Quintero, and Castro's back.
Castro, a good guy to take a shot at. 1, just to tighten him up down there with his lead at first base, and 2, he has a reputation for being a little spacey at times on the bases, so not surprised to see Q take a shot at him. Cubs have yet to steal a base here in 2011. This guy Castro would be their best candidate.
They have tried 2. Breaking ball takes the count to 2-1 on Darwin Barney. Barney played some last season and was impressive. 4th round pick in 07. Came along in August and rated a strong look this spring. Blake DeWitt did not have a good spring. The sun is reflecting off that building out in center field. It's quite bright up at this level. May not be at the players level down on the field. See that brightness?
Yeah, I didn't until you mentioned. I looked up. Now I'm blinded. So I'm out for a couple pitches.
It might be a fly ball to center or left or right or ground ball somewhere. We're not sure. And that is ball 4. So 2 men on for Figueroa to face Marlon Byrd next. This immediate challenge for Nelson. And on he'll Daniel Sanchez comes in from shortstop to talk it over along with Quintero. I mentioned the no stolen bases in 2 attempts. One of those involved Marlon Byrd getting thrown out in the 9th inning yesterday in a 1-run game with Aramis Ramirez at the plate. Byrd, though, has put together a 7-game hitting streak. Batting average .342 in the early days of this season, and he has 5 doubles. That ties for the league lead.
His batting average is at the top. A little daunting. .333, .333, .342. Ramirez is next. He's hitting .324. Wouldn't matter if he was hitting .110. He's always done damage against the Astros.
37 homers for Ramirez against Houston. Byrd closed out his Texas portion of his career, hitting very well for the last couple of years there.
Did I mention the triple plays in order?
No, you didn't. It's good to bring that up. Figueroa spotted that fastball, and that's something he was trying to do on Castro, but gave up the hit, and then he missed on Barney. He comes back to it here. And Mike Quade finished the season as the Cubs skipper. They were 24-13. They looked at some other candidates, but Mike Quade got the full-time job over the winter. And there is a Figueroa strikeout. What a big one for him for his first out with 2 men on.
But Byrd was maybe looking for an off-speed pitch very late on that elevated fastball. Big strikeout for Figgy. You see Q coming out of the crouch, wanted that fastball up. And he slipped it right by him. A little late getting it started.
Sure was. I mentioned Ramirez and the damage he has done against the Astros. 37 homers for his career. He has 1 home run this season, 5 driven in, a .324 batting average. It's a first pitch breaking ball and fouls it back. And Ramirez in his career has driven in 121 against the Astros in his time with the Pirates and Cubs. And he is 6 for 19 with a couple of bombs off Figueroa.
Been a good solid run producer for a good long while now. 3 doubles in the ball game yesterday at Milwaukee for Ramirez.
Makes that one out of play. He's 10 home runs shy of 300 for his career now. Figueroa really pitched well in the Astros rotation last season, trying to return to that form after that hiccup you talked about last time out. Career highs for Nelson in hits allowed with 11 and runs with 10. That was a 12-4 loss at Cincinnati against the hard-hitting Reds. His Cubs team is hitting .271 as a club. It's up and it's 1-2. Nelson, 36 years old, getting the shot out of the gate in the starting rotation. Only Albert Pujols has more homers among active players against the Astros than the 37 hit by Aramis Ramirez. And Soriano is in the top 5 with 20. Fouled away. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Figueroa is 3-5 lifetime against Chicago with a 3.79 ERA for 14 games, 8 of those as a starter.
I'd love to get a ground ball here and get a double play and get out of this inning. Ramirez does not hit the ball on the ground a lot.
In the air, Sanchez, the infield fly called, now moves in. 2 outs. Figueroa regrouping now, has gotten the 3-4 hitters and will face Pena next. Carlos Pena, one of the newcomers to the Cubs this season. Had some very big years with Tampa Bay. 190 with 4 runs batted in for Pena in his early days with Chicago. Signing a 1-year deal for $10 million as a free agent over the winter.
He fits in with the theme we talked about earlier about a veteran player and finding out how much he's got left in the tank. Really struggled last year. Right around 200, didn't he, last year?
196.
Yeah.
28 homers, 84 runs batted in. That's kind of an odd.
That's a hard 196.
Yes, it is. It's an odd hitting line for a season. That one breaks in tight on him for ball 1. And the shift is on with 3 infielders for the Astros between first and second. wide opening there where the shortstop would normally be for a right-handed batter, as you can see, because Sanchez is on the first base side of second, and out in right field is Joe Inglet.
In that rover position. The Astros use this for Prince Fielder as well. Lefty power hitters.
2-0 for Figueroa. Carlos Pena, now 32 years old, was a first-round pick of the Rangers in '98. Brad Mills enjoyed the offense his club put together yesterday. 16 hits in a 7-1 win over Florida. Strong pitching by Jay Happ. He could put another game on top of that one in the win column with a 2-7 Houston record. The Cubs are 4-5. Figueroa misses again in with the breaking pitch. Falls behind 3-0. Soriano on deck. Pena missed a couple of games with a sprained right thumb. He's a high strikeout guy. Whiffed 158 times last year in 484 at bats, but he walked 87 times. And he's hacking on 3-0, fouling it.
A little backdoor slider, green light, so got a chance to drive in a run. He's going to be aggressive. 46 home runs he hit for Tampa in 2007. Drove in 121 that year, so it gives you an idea of what he's capable of.
Came back with 31 bombs in 08, 102 driven in, and in 09, 39 homers, 100 driven in. That one in tight. They appeal. He checked his swing on the call by Rob Drake. And the base is loaded now after the walk to Pena for Soriano.
Looks like the book on Pena is sliders in. I saw a whole bunch of them in that at bat.
Sure did.
The book on this fella here, Soriano, is really big in that he's got a huge strike zone. He really attacks balls and can handle balls all over the zone and out of the zone. So go way up, go way down, go way out.
Soriano goes for the first one, loops it toward the right field line. That's in for extra bases. Castro scores. Barney is home to make it 2-0 on a 2-run double by Soriano, his first double of the season. Seven runs batted in for Soriano now this year.
Quaddy has to be delighted in what he's seen from Soriano so far this year. Off to a nice start. He fights this one off into the right field corner. A little bit surprised that they didn't send Pena. With two outs, I thought he would likely score on that ball. DeJesus comes way down the line, gives it a good long look, and ultimately throws up the stop sign.
That gives Tyler Colvin runners at second and third rather, and two outs. Good looking player from Clemson. He takes strike one. Colvin with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Next pitch will be the 25th of the inning. Only a 130 batting average for Tyler Colvin. He's played well defensively at first base and in right field. 24 years old. He hit 20 homers for the Cubs in 358 at bats last year. He swings at that breaking pitch. Snap throw to third. It gets away. Not far enough for any advance. Might have hit the leg there, Pena.
Hit him in the back of the shoe. If we're playing on the street, he's out. He got hit by the ball before he was on the base. Don't look away. See, he looks away at the last minute. So Q got, I think it was Ben Francisco in Philadelphia last year, and that's right, same exact play.
You don't want to look away and put that head down. 0-2 the count. Fastball crowds him, and it's 1-2 with Giovanni Soto on deck. The Cubs are 46-45 at Minute Maid Park. The Astros won the season series from Chicago last year, 11-7. Roll to second. Joe Inglet over to Brett Wallace. The Cubs get 2 runs. They have 2 hits and lead 2, and they're in front 2-0. Run first to give Ryan Dempster a lead. Here's the starting lineup for the Astros. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Showing you Michael Bourne leading off in center field. Angel Sanchez at shortstop batting second. Hunter Pence is in right field. Carlos Lee, the cleanup man, plays left field. With Brett Wallace at first base, Chris Johnson at third base. Joe Inglet gets his first start of the season. He's the second baseman. Humberto Quintero is the catcher for Nelson Figueroa.
Veteran right-hander Ryan Dempster for the Cubs. He's made 2 starts this year. He's lost them both. ERA of 6.59, coming off a very solid season last year. He was a 15-game winner with an ERA of 3.85.
Strike one to Michael Bourne on a 5-game hitting streak. 258 for Michael. No homers, 2 runs batted in. 361 on base percentage. Dempster's up with the fastball. That makes it 1-1 with third baseman Aramis Ramirez in on the grass and shortened up at first, even with the base Carlos Pena. Bourne fouls it away. Michael getting that second Gold Glove over the weekend, and he's really had some nice hits over the weekend as well. Extra base hits, spraying the ball around. Some have come to left, some to right center. This one, glove by Pena, an excellent fielder. He tosses, and Dempster's there for out number 1.
Yeah, Pena's got quick feet, good hands down there at first base. I'm going to look at the rest of the Cubs defensively. Soriano out there in left. He's had some problems over the years. Bird, Colvin round out the outfield. The infield with Ramirez, Castro, Barney, and Pena. Giovanni Soto behind the plate. Got 3 of 10 so far this year, threw out 20% last year, which is below average.
Angel Sanchez with a 364 average off to a very nice first few games. Bounces that one foul past Dave Clark for strike 1. Angel was 5 for 12 in that Florida series over the weekend. Had a season high 3 hits yesterday. Fastball is up, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He has started the first 10 games at shortstop now. Clint Barma still working his way back from the broken left hand. Dempster drops it in for a strike. It's 1-2.
If you've never seen Dempster pitch, you're probably wondering what's going on with all that funky motion he's doing with his hands. It's because he felt earlier in his career he was tipping pitches a little bit, so he does that to disguise the grip he's getting in his glove. And because he's just kind of a quirky guy.
He's a funny guy, too. Does a nice stand-up comedy routine. Great impersonations of people like Harry Carey.
Shows it to you, hides it. It's fastball, slider, split finger pitch.
2-hopper routine play. Starlin Castro. Low throw, though, and Pena saves him with a nice scoop at first. 2 outs.
And usually it's the veterans that are buying the young players dinner and things of that nature, but with Pena's good hands over there, this kid may be taking Carlos out to dinner a little bit this season. All the errors, he's going to save him.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the book on Castro. He's capable of making the spectacular play, but sometimes on the routine play, he gets a little bit out of rhythm.
Hunter Pence has had 6 hits in his last 3 games. 3-game hitting streak. Looking at ball 1 from Dempster.
Don't worry about it, kid. You're 21 years old playing in the big leagues with a brilliant future. You'll be okay. You and Rory McIlroy, you'll get through it.
Oh, yeah. Tough day for Rory. Hunter looks at it, and Dempster falls behind. 2 balls, no strikes. Hunter had 3 hits, drove in a run yesterday. Been spraying the ball, hitting it hard to right field. That's what he works on in batting practice. This one goes to the shortstop. And Castro makes the accurate throw for a 1-2-3 first. Dempster getting 3 ground balls and a 2-0 Cubs lead after 1. 12 runs in the first inning of their games this year, more than in any other inning. That's not surprising. First inning usually is a good offensive inning for teams. Their lineup stacked the way they want it to be productive. The starting pitchers trying to adjust to things in the early going. Gio Soto, 207, 1 homer, 3 runs batted in, leads it off in the second. And there's ball 1. Dempster will be next. They get strike 1.
Pretty talented hitter to have in the 8-hole.
Yeah, he is.
Rookie of the year in 2008. Fell off significantly in 2009, but a nice bounce back year for him last year. Hit for a good average. Had 17 home runs.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Soto in 08 with 23 homers, 86 runs batted in. Rookie of the year, 28 years old now.
A little double hit, TC. Get it in there. Didn't.
He didn't, and there's a line drive to center, but Michael Bourne is there. 1 out. That's a big part of Nelson Figueroa's game, is locating the fastball where he wants to.
Well, he's got good action on that slider tonight. So with these right-handed hitters, the ability to throw the fastball in is going to be very important for him to set up that slider away. So that's an instance there as a pitcher you have to recognize. Yeah, I got an out, but I got away with one. Next time I come in there, I got to make sure I get it in there.
Strike to Ryan Dempster, Canadian-born hurler. He was a closer for a while and then went back to the rotation where he's been effective. Bounce to shortstop. Sanchez takes care of out number 2. We go to Greg Lucas.
You know, during the series against the Reds and Marlins, for every run the Astros scored, you received $2 off field box tickets down to the minimum. And so the game against the Padres this Saturday, the Astros reached the maximum runs. The tickets are only $11. It's not too late, though, for you to score some. Astros.com/runs for tickets while the supplies last. Tell you what, guys, since I've returned to field level, it is wonderful to take advantage of the weather we have tonight. And the forecast says same thing tomorrow night. So Astro fans might keep that in mind and try to get to the ballpark because it's wonderful out here.
Spectacular weather.
Yeah, we don't get too many like this.
Low humidity. Breaking pitch, strike 1 call to Castro. Castro singled and scored.
Now you can DVR The Office. Just come on out to the ballpark.
Speaking of The Office, you can bring your iPhone out here and bring your office to Minute Maid Park with all the new AT&T Wi-Fi hotspots in this ballpark. It's like being in a big tower with the reception you get out here now. Foul ball away, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I mentioned Castro, the youngest player in the majors, 21 years, 18 days. Mike Stanton of the Marlins is second youngest. Freddie Freeman of the Braves, Tim Collins of the Royals, Jason Hayward of the Braves. The youngest 5. Flicks that one foul. Stays alive at 1-2.
Let's see if they try to go back inside with the fastball. This would be a good time to do it.
Cubs fan gets that one. Barney on deck with 2 outs. Number 10, Ron Santos' number. He passed away over the winter. A great guy. Fly ball over shortstop, out into left center field. A hit in front of Michael Bourne. A looping single, and Castro is 2 for 2.
Something funky Nelson threw up there. Almost looked like a knuckleball.
It did look a little
unusual.
unusual.
Pitch or something. He's like a cagey veteran, got all kinds of tricks. Who knows? Yeah, we miss Ron Santo, boy. He was a lot of fun to be around. Keith Moreland has taken over in the radio booth for Ronnie, working alongside Pat Hughes now.
Keith will do a good job. Darwin Barney walked and scored. He's had plenty of experience on the air. There's strike 1. Texas shut out Detroit 2-0 at Detroit. Alexio Gando. Runner going. Line drive right center field. Looks like extra bases. Michael Bourne picks it up on the track. Castro around to make it 3-0. And a triple standing up for Barney. Shot that gap in right center field, and that's his first triple of the year, at RBI number 3 for Barney, and a 3-0 Chicago lead.
The Cubs frustrated in their loss to Milwaukee yesterday, but getting some big 2-out hits here today. 2-out double by Soriano in the first. Now a 2-out triple by Barney to score Castro, who was moving on the pitch. So even if that ball was picked up cleanly in the outfield, no way they're going to get the speedy Castro.
Marlon Byrd loops a single to right to make it 4-0 Chicago, attacking the first pitch to give himself an 8-game hitting streak. And that's RBI number 3 for Byrd.
And that's why I was talking about that inside fastball, because, you know, Figgy, even though he's not a real hard thrower, he's got to make sure he does his work in there, or these hitters are just going to look away. They're going to look middle away. Maybe they won't be looking slider or fastball, but they're going to look location. They're going to look for the ball out away from them. And you can't afford to let the hitter sit on one side of the plate.
Ramirez takes. There's strike 1 to him. He popped a short in the first inning. Fastball makes it 0-2. Alexio Gando 2-0 with an ERA of 0 for Texas. Beat Justin Verlander today, and Neftali Feliz got his 4th save.
Rangers are 9-1. Is that right?
I'm going to check on that.
Wow, good start for the Rangers. 9-1 with that win today. Best record in baseball.
Breaking ball close, and Gary Darling, the home plate umpire, calls it ball 1. Good pickup by Quintero. One hopper to the backhand side. Let's see what's going on around Major League Baseball with that Rangers club 9-1 we mentioned. Ryan Zimmerman's going on the DL with an abdominal strain. Cal Crawford facing the Rays tonight for the first time. That is not going well for the Red Sox. 8-2 Rays in the 4th. The Tribe started 0-2, 7-0 since. You see the Rangers, best start in their history. Another good stop by Quintero.
So when you do all your work out there, it's easier for the hitter to lay off those pitches as well. I mean, if you're working both sides of the plate and you're showing hard in, maybe you can get a hitter to chase that breaking ball off the plate. Tougher to do that when just about every pitch he's seen has been out there.
Runner going. Bounce to shortstop. Big hop for Sanchez. On over to Brett Wallace, and the Cubs put up another 2 on 3 hits. They leave a man. It's 4-0 Chicago. Cubs lead it 4-0 as the Astros come up in the home second against Ryan Dempster, who had a 1-2-3 first with all 3 outs on the ground. Carlos Lee with a .200 average, 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. We'll try to get something working here. Dempster with his first start on the road this year. Delivers strike 1. He was 0-2 for those 2 home starts with a 6.59 ERA.
Carlos, a good candidate to get something done against Dempster. He's got very good numbers against this right-hander.
And he does. Up the right field line. It kicks out toward the right fielder, Colvin, and holds him to a single. Lee with the opposite field ground ball gets something started for the Astros, becomes their first base runner.
Well, I don't know that I've ever seen Carlos hit the ball down the first baseline like that. You can see where Pena's playing because the charts will tell you he never hits the ball down there. Well, can't say never anymore, can we?
Nope. He's aboard for Brett Wallace. Wallace has put together a 4-game hitting streak. .242 is his batting average, including a homer, and he's driven in 5. He's gone 6 for 15 during his 4-game streak. Dempster misses, and it's ball 1. Last year, Dempster started 4 times against the Astros. He was 1-1 with a couple of no decisions. He has 11 career losses against Houston. He's also lost 11 against Atlanta and 11 against Pittsburgh. No more than that against any team. 2-0. He's won 5 against the Astros. 32 years old. Back when he was a closer in the 2005 season, he had 8 saves and 8 appearances against the Astros, who won the National League Championship that year. 2 balls and a strike. Dempster has served his club well in different roles.
Yeah, and it's been a nice run for him when you consider the injury problems he had earlier. That's why he ended up, he went from starter, then he got hurt and made his comeback after surgery as a reliever, then back into the starter's role, and he's given the Cubs 200+ innings 3 years in a row. So he's been pretty darn durable post surgery.
Yes, he has. 3 balls and a strike now. He was the opening day starter, not Carlos Zambrano, who had started 6 openers in a row. Dempster threw 104 pitches on opening day against the Pirates. In the dirt, and Wallace takes a stroll. First and second, nobody out for Chris Johnson. Fourth walk for Brett Wallace. Mike Quaddy's club with the 4-0 lead. Faces Johnson now. Chris with a .200 average, no homers, 3 runs batted in. Sat out yesterday's game. Fire really burns bright inside Chris Johnson. His manager wanted to give him a little downtime. Sent some frustration in him. Sometimes that's very helpful. Just take a step back out of the cauldron. That's strike 1 call. Chris's half sister, who's 11 years old, threw out the first ball before the Yankees Red Sox game at Fenway last night. She was involved in an accident last year, hit by an automobile while riding her bicycle, and lost a leg. Has a prosthetic leg now. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs have 2 of the members of their starting rotation down on the disabled list right now. Andrew Kashner, who's from this area, and Randy Wells, both injured. Pena drops it. Will take the out at first to Dempster. Looked like a surefire double play ball, but he couldn't find the handle. Lee advances to third. Wallace to second on the 3-1 play. 1 out.
Yeah, that ball had enough steam on it when it got to Pena. It likely would have been an easy double play had he been able to handle it. Dempster breaking to cover first, excuse me, but after the mishandle, only one option for Pena.
That gives Joe Inglet a chance to come up with runners at second and third. And his first starting assignment as an Astro, 32-year-old veteran from Sacramento, California, who went to Nevada, Reno, traded to the Astros late in spring training by Tampa Bay. Here's ball one. A good chance for him to start. He is 2 for 2 in his career against Dempster, and he needs to start a game, not having done that since the end of spring training. And also Bill Hall, 3 for 18 lifetime against Dempster, so that's the choice tonight, as you see Lee and Wallace at second for England. Jason Michaels will probably start soon.
Joe, while with the Toronto Blue Jays, earned the nickname Voodoo Joe. Which twice when he was sent to the minor leagues, that very same day, other players got hurt and he got recalled immediately.
Dempster at one point had an 18 2/3 consecutive scoreless inning streak against the Astros, but that was when he was a reliever. Powers that one in for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Inglet. Inglet's 0 for 5 this season.
Under duress here, Dempster finds a little something extra. That fastball clocked at 93 miles an hour. Maybe his best so far tonight. Bottom of the knees. Tough pitch to handle.
A hit here would be awfully big for the Astros, trailing early 4-0. Dempster goes to a 2-ball 2-strike count. Humberto Quintero's on deck.
A couple guys out there in scoring position, you'd love to score them both, but you feel like you have to get at least one home. So very important at bat for Joe Inglet, because he's up there with one out, and the infield back ground ball gets one home.
Dempster gets him on a breaking ball, struck him out. First strikeout for Dempster. What a time for it.
I feel your pain, Greg. I was groaning right there with you.
Humberto Quintero tries to provide a lift. 222 his average. He has 1 RBI. Had a pair of doubles in yesterday's game and an intentional walk. He drove in a run and scored one yesterday. And there's strike one for Dempster with Figueroa on deck.
Missed the target by about 3 feet.
Sure did. Q has started both of the Astros wins. Last time Figueroa started, it was J.R. Tolles doing the catching. This is now 6 starts in 10 games for Humberto.
Tyler Colvin's too deep in right field.
Yeah, he sure is.
Q punches that ball to right field quite a bit, and with 2 outs and an old blooper out there would score 2. I think you got to play a few steps in.
Two balls, 1 strike.
Now there's 2 outs and nobody on. You're protecting against an extra base hit. Play a little deeper. And when a single scores 2, you defend that.
The Cubs rotation of Dempster, Carlos Zambrano, Max Garza, Andy Wells, Andrew Cashner made the first turn through the rotation.
Being very cautious with Q here with the base open. Figueroa on deck. Astros pitchers are the best in baseball right now in terms of batting average. But this is a time if you're Q that you get something close, not a bad idea to take a whack.
One hopper Pena to end the Astros second. No runs, a hit. 2 men stranded in scoring position. 4-0 Cubs.
incident. It's a 3-ball, 1-strike count. You see where the slider is. It's number 5 there on our pitch track, how far off the plate it was, and Q went after it. But to me, that's a good swing of the bat because you got the pitcher on deck. He's capable of hitting that ball the other way. If he punches that over second base, you score 2 runs. So it's the kind of thing you see. You're watching a ball game. You think, geez, what a bad at bat, 3-1, and he's chasing that bad ball. You know, if Mike Hampton's on deck, or maybe even Bud Norris, go ahead and take the walk. And even if he does take the walk there, it's not a bad play. But I've got no qualms with Q attacking that pitch there.
Just couldn't find a hole for it. Carlos Pena takes strike 1. He walked first time up.
You know, all about situational hitting, and there are times when you're supposed to be patient and work to get on base. There are other times that, you know, you've got to be willing to expand the zone to try to inflict some damage. And that's one of the burdens of being an 8-hole hitter with a pitcher behind you.
That's the truth.
Yeah, you know, in a sense, you're kind of giving yourself up. You're going after a bad ball in hopes of catching a break.
Figueroa has thrown 50 pitches in the game now. 32 of them strikes. One ball, 2 strikes to Carlos Pena. Xfinity brings you this in-game box score, showing you Castro 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored, and then the damage from the top of the order. Soriano a 2-run double as well. Soriano's on deck right now. Fouled off the railing.
Dynamic duo at the top of the order, the Dictator and the Dinosaur, getting it done for the Cubs here tonight.
Well, I noticed Castro kept turning left as he was coming around. That's nothing new, but yeah, the Dinosaur Barney, I like that too. Infield shifted, and Inglett's way out in right field again. Ground ball goes to Wallace's right, and he tosses to Figueroa. 1 out.
It's interesting because Inglett was out there in that rover position, way over the pole, almost behind Wallace.
Right. Exactly. Here it is.
A little cover 2, Browning.
Yeah.
They were not going to find anybody open there between the linebacker and the safety.
They were stacked.
Pretty well had that covered.
As Frank Broyles used to say, you have to throw it over the linebacker.
He's a fine youngster.
Soriano takes it. It's ball 1. He drove in a run with a double to right field. Dangerous hitter, but he has really slowed down the last few years, and not held in such high regard these days as back in the days when he was in the 40-40 club. Doesn't run nearly as well. 2 balls, no strikes. Swings at that one to make it 2-1. Put it out earlier, Soriano has always been one of the most aggressive hitters around. Last year he hit 24 homers. He drove in 79 runs. His salary is around $19 million this year. It's 3 balls and a strike. He signed an 8-year deal after the 07 season for $136 million. But after the 07 season, he had hit 33 homers, 19 bases. 40-40 year with Washington in 06. Broken bat, it rolls out to second. Inglett to his right. 2 out.
Yeah, and 40-40 in that ballpark in Washington, the old RFK Stadium, that place was cavernous, so that was very impressive.
Yes, it was.
And Soriano obviously had some very good years with the Yankees. And the Rangers prior to that, with a slider catching him off the end of the bat.
Tyler Colvin, who was born in Augusta, Georgia, is next. He grounded out first time up. First round pick in 06, the 13th player drafted. Kosuke Fukudome is sitting this one out. He hurt his hamstring in yesterday's game. There's strike 1. But many think that Colvin will be playing more and more in right field, and Fukudome less and less as the year progresses. 1 ball, 1 strike. What a gorgeous night.
Oh, man.
This is absolutely going to be one of the best nights for months. 1-2. The rain came through this morning, cleared things out. Very low humidity. It's been a bright sunny day for the afternoon. Foul ball. Still 1-2.
Colvin quick enough to get that cut fastball moving in on him, but just no way to keep it fair. I think he's got some swings and misses with that high fastball.
Yeah.
Tonight. See if he takes a shot up there again with Colvin.
He likes to work up there, out of the zone. Changing the eye level here, and he breaks one off for the strikeout. That's number 2. And he gets a 1-2-3 third inning with the score 4-0 Cubs.
It's wonderful. 79 degrees, 18% humidity. The wind is minimal. It's gusty a little bit. And how do I know it's 79? I have my own official, very cheap thermometer, which is registering 79 degrees. But what's most important is for fans tomorrow. We talked about this a little bit. Tomorrow, it's going to be a carbon copy. That's what the forecast shows. There's the temperature. You can't read that, but I'm keeping track. And tomorrow, it will be the same. So come on out here. Boy, you know that the nights that are like this aren't too many during the course of the year, and this is just great.
Do you carry that thing around everywhere?
Everywhere. That's why I'm an unofficial weatherman.
It's his eye thermometer. He's got that weather app on it. It's fairly one-dimensional, but
oh, it's beautiful. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Figueroa, 182 for his career. But in his first start of the season at Cincinnati, he went 2 for 3.
Now we got the Norman number. Now we're going to have to come up with the Lucas something or other.
Fouled away. Figueroa had a 2-hit game. Jay Happ had a couple of hits yesterday. Brett Myers has had a 2-hit game. And as you mentioned earlier, Astros pitchers hitting .412 are leading all pitching stats in hitting. Figueroa strikes out. Number 2 for Dempster.
Further justifying Q going after that 3-1 pitch last inning. They would have blown up that whole thing if Figgy went up there and hit a line drive single somewhere.
That's right. That's right. Well, you're right about the dilemma of a number 8 hitter, though. That's why it helps to have a guy who's a pretty good bad ball hitter in that situation in the lineup. Be able to take a pitch like that just off the zone and hit it hard.
Yeah.
Michael Bourne shortens up. Looks at ball 1. James Russell, the lefty, former Texas Longhorn, will start tomorrow night against Brett Myers. Dempster's pitching on 4 days rest tonight with the injuries to Cashner and Wells. that was no problem, keeping him on 4 days rest, but the rotation's been juggled around a little bit to make room for the two newcomers. Strike is 2-1, and yesterday it was Casey Coleman who entered the rotation and pitched at Milwaukee for Mike Quaddy. So his depth is tested early this season. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs pitching 4.67 ERA, 13th best in the National League in the early days. Bourne looks at it. It's 3-2. Dempster usually will give a lot of walks to the opponents. He had 86 last year.
Yeah, if you're patient, Astros generally not real patient, don't draw a lot of walks.
He comes back to get a strikeout on a breaking pitch.
He just does not like to give in. And there's no better example than that pitch right there. He's got Michael Bourne up there, a guy that if he walks could easily steal second base and get himself in the scoring position. He's got a 4-0 lead. So quote unquote book of baseball says, hey, challenge him, throw him a good fastball in the strike zone. Dempster throws him a breaking ball out of the zone, gets the swing and miss.
Angel Sanchez takes strike 1. The Mets lead 4-2 over the Rockies after 5 at Citi Field with Mike Pelfrey on the mound. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tampa Bay 9, Boston 2 after 5 at Fenway. And the Rays, who have really been strapped to score runs, have broken out tonight against Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Red Sox pitching was really scuffling. Josh Beckett stepped up in a big way for them last night.
He sure did.
But for the most part, their starters are woeful.
They really have. Tim Wakefield is pitching tonight in relief again. He's seen a lot of relief action. And the starters have been shelled. Swing and a miss and a strikeout to strike out the side for Dempster. And after 3, it's 4-0 Cubs. Nelson Figueroa has retired 4 in a row now. As nightfall comes to Minute Maid Park, it's Giovanni Soto. Soto hit a fly ball to center first time up. Looks at ball 1.
Good looking pitch. Just a skosh off that outside corner. Gary Darling over the years has had a reputation of being pretty tight in terms of his strike zone, but consistent. He's always been that way. And the hitters would probably tell you otherwise. From the pitcher's point of view, he's been tight. The hitters would probably tell you spot on.
2 totally different perspectives. Strike call.
He'll give you a little more leeway up than down.
Well, Figgy's been moving his fastball upstairs several times tonight. Well, if you know that's what you're working with as far as the umpire's strike zone, it'd be nice to get the hitter to swing a little bit more often, but some guys don't want to come in there and catch a lot of the plate to do that.
Well, and it's tough when you're not a power guy like Figgy, but the bottom line is you got to find a way to throw strike one. So, if you can, and that's where that good old get over breaking ball really pays off, because hitters like to hit the fastball early. So if you can throw even just a sloppy curve in there for strike one, and then you're not relying so much on the umpire, you're trying to get the hitters to expand because they're behind in the count.
Got him. Strikeout number 3 for Figueroa using the high fastball. Ryan Dempster hit a ground ball to shortstop his first time up. Here's ball 1. The Astros had rough sledding the first time through the rotation. And the second time, their ERA has been 2.67. Little roller goes to third. Gives Johnson plenty of time. 2 outs. Jay Happ, Wandy Rodriguez really adjusted well, got much better results than in their first trips to the mound. Brett Myers has been solid in both of his. Wandy gave up 1 run in 7 innings. Jay gave up 1 run in 7 2/3 innings. Starlin Castro will take a little extra time now, so Dempster can walk back to the dugout. Castro has 2 hits, 2 runs scored tonight already. Homegrown players for the Cubs, who have a pretty high payroll, around 130, 140 million this year. Not as high as last year. Strike to Castro, but they have several veteran players under long-term, multi-year deals.
They do have some money coming off the books, so there's a lot of intrigue. Will they be in play with Albert Pujols in the offseason?
Line drive left field. Carlos Lee over, he backhands it. And Castro's 3 for 3. Well, the other day it was seen on TV. Somebody had a Albert Pujols Cubs jersey made up and was wearing it outside Wrigley Field.
Did you? Well, you did. I heard you talking about it. The piece on Albert on 60 Minutes last night.
Yes,
very impressive.
It really was.
This one gets to the wall, and it's going to be 2 bases. That's why it pays off for Carlos to play deep here.
Darwin Barney with a triple and a walk. He scored 2 runs. Here's ball 1. Albert Pujols said he cried when he was drafted so low by the Cardinals, 13th round.
Not as much as all those clubs that let him go by. They've been crying ever since.
That's right. Cubs have 6 hits, 4 runs off Figueroa. Quick move to first base.
Sometimes you go over there just to tighten a guy up and let him know you're paying attention. Other times you're thinking pickoff, and that was the latter. Gave it everything he had.
The Astros won 76 games last year. The Cubs won 75. Strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Darwin Barney. Darwin was in 30 games for the Cubs last year. He was a backup infielder when spring training began. His stock has really risen. The numbers on Figueroa, who shakes his head after 74 pitches. Runner going. Quintero's throw, 1 hop, safe. On the tag by England. Castro was there. and steal number 1 for him and for the Cubs this season.
He had stolen a base, and then they pick on one of the tougher running or throwing catchers in the league to get it done against. Did not have a lot of team speed, as we mentioned earlier, but Castro certainly a guy who was capable of stealing some bags.
Throw comes up on Joe Inglet.
There's a great look, though, at Inglet out there with the glove on the ground. Much easier for an infielder to take the glove from the ground up to handle a hop than to have it up in the air and to try to reach down for a ball that skips.
Darwin Barney not only went to Oregon State, but he's from that state, Portland, Oregon. Little chop, slowly hit. Chris Johnson coming in. Bare hands, no play. No play at third either on the infield roller by Barney. He and Castro both have been on all 3 times.
5 hits and a walk for that duo. They've scored all 4 of the Cubs' runs. Again, 2 out hits from the Cubs. This isn't much of a hit, but it counts. Good decision there by CJ with a runner behind you on third base. Errant throw, and they score a cheap run.
Cubs were the last team in the majors to get their first stolen base a few minutes ago. Now first at third. Well, Marlon Byrd, who singled in a run to right in the second. He's 1 for 2. Marlon, 33 years old, from Florida. Fouls it back, strike 1. The Phillies drafted him in '99. All kinds of injuries in the minor leagues. He was a 4-time minor league all-star, but had 3 leg surgeries that cost him 2 years. Serious surgeries.
Contemplated amputating at one point. Some kind of an infection, something crazy going on. And while down his weight, he ballooned to like over 300 pounds.
One ball, 1 strike with Castro at third. That's what the top 2 has done for Chicago in this game. Bird drove in 66 last year. Burrow's fastball is away, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Tampa Bay was averaging only 2.2 runs per game coming into this one tonight at Boston. One almost hit him, a breaking ball. Bird was ready to take one for the team. 3 balls and a strike. That's the kind of pitch you don't mind hitting you.
No, soft little breaking ball. Upper arm.
Three and 2. Big opportunity here for Figueroa to establish himself in a major league starting rotation. First start certainly did not go well. This one has been rough from the beginning. He needs to get this man get out of trouble to keep the score 4-0 Cubs in the 4th. Bouncer up the middle and into center field. Castro scoring to make it 5-0 Cubs. Barney to third on the RBI hit by Bird. His second run batted in. 3 straight 2-out singles.
All 5 of the Cubs runs have scored with 2 outs, and again Figgy not able to get the fastball in. You see where Q set up, wants that fastball in on the hands, and Figgy just pulls it across his body to the outside part of the plate. Up and in, a tough pitch perhaps for Bird to handle, but out over the plate like that, fairly easy to get the barrel on it.
There's some stirring in the Astros bullpen. Looks like some warm-up action will start. Ramos Ramirez is 0 for 2. Again, a fastball missing, and it's ball 1. And Arnsberg is going out. Early days of National League Central Division play. Mario Del Rosario is warming up for the Astros. The Astros have just played the Reds a few days ago. Now seeing the Cubs. Later on they'll go to Milwaukee on the next road trip. That starts in New York, but after this 3-game series they step out of the division and meet the San Diego Padres in a 4-game set. Here's the breakdown on Figueroa's evening. Another rough night for him. He threw 86 pitches in that start at Cincinnati. This one gets by, and the runner starts home and then goes back to third, and will scramble back with the advance of Bird to second base on the wild pitch.
I'm not sure what Brad Arnsberg said, but highly unlikely he said throw one to the backstop and we'll pick him off third. But if he did and they got him at third, it would have been the smartest call ever made by a pitching coach. I think he was trying to break out some kind of a changeup and he scored it out of his hand.
Now 2-0 to Ramirez. Pops it back out of play. 2 balls and a strike with Pena on deck. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Figgy.
86 pitches already in this ball game. Still in the 4th inning. That's a lot of work.
It is. Jay Happ went 7 2/3 yesterday. Bud Norris 6 innings Saturday night. Wandy 7 the night before. Hit hard. Chris Johnson flags it down to his left. Makes a strong throw. And in the 4th inning, the Cubs come up with a run on 3 hits. They leave 2. It's 5-0 Chicago. Five nothing Cubs. The Astros batting now in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pence, Lee, and Wallace due up against Ryan Dempster. Has been spotted this big lead early. He lost on opening day 6-3 at home to the Pirates. Fastball is up to Hunter Pence, who grounded to shortstop, and it's ball 1.
Well, you never know which run is going to beat you in a ball game. Astros down 5. Maybe they don't get back in this one, but if they do and manage to pull it out, we'll remember that play Chris Johnson made last half.
Yeah. Always hit sharply. 50 pitches for Dempster. That one comes up and hits Hunter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Reds are averaging 6.78 runs per game. Right cheek. Cheeky. That by far is the best offensive output of any team in the NL Central. Cubs 4.22, the second highest offensive output. 2 balls, 2 strikes in the NL Central so far. The Astros are averaging 3.89 runs per game. The weekend was encouraging, though, especially yesterday when they faced Anibal Sanchez, who had a career ERA against them of 0.70. He got 13 hits and 6 runs off him. Strikeout number 5 for Dempster.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
Turning into Nolan Ryan out there all of a sudden. Been a good strikeout pitcher throughout his career, and he came into this game with 13 strikeouts and 13 2/3 innings of work in his first 2 starts. So even though that ERA for 2 starts was awfully high, stuff is still good. Knows how to pitch, so likely will end up having a pretty good year.
Strike to Carlos Lee. He's single to right, just inside the line.
Dempster, 33 years of age, turns 34 next month. A time when pitchers oftentimes start to go into a decline. So you're always worried as a veteran pitcher who's been piling up innings in recent years. Is this the year that he takes a big step down?
One ball, 2 strikes. The innings he has piled up. Some people are looking at that. Had Tommy John surgery back in 03. The appeal went, and he went for it. It's a strikeout of Lee. 6 strikeouts. They appealed the previous pitch as well. This time the Cubs get the call from Bruce Dreckman.
5 in a row. Pop-up would be a rally here.
Yeah, it would be. Dempster faces Brett Wallace, who walked in the second. High fastball, ball 1 to Brett. Dempster was an all-star back in 2000 with Florida, winning 14, losing 10 that year. 2 balls, no strikes. He was drafted by Texas in '95 in the 3rd round, then traded to Florida along with Rick Helling for John Burkett in '96. Cubs got him as a free agent in '04. He's been a long time Cubby. Pena tossing to Dempster, takes the 3-1 play and makes it 9 straight. Retired by Dempster. 2-4. Cubs lead at 5-0. On April 11th, 1962, in a game of firsts, Houston gets his first franchise shutout. A 2-0 win over the Cubs. featuring its first rain delay of 1 hour and 7 minutes at Old Colt Stadium. Dean Stone, the left-hander. Bobby Shantz had won the opener in that series. And I believe Hal Woodashik also pitched in that series. So the Astros swept the Cubs in their first 3 games in franchise history as the Colt 45s. Now reliever Enerio Del Rosario comes in with an ERA 3.86.
Enerio coming off an outstanding spring training. He was very good in Florida so far through 4 ball games. He has an ERA of 3.86, 4 2/3 innings of work. I think he touched up for 5 runs on 8 hits in his 4 innings.
Carlos Pena walked in, he bounced out. Figueroa walked 2 and fanned 3 in his 4 innings of work. There's ball 1 to Pena. The lefty James Russell gets the nod tomorrow night for the Cubs against Brett Myers. Russell has been a reliever in the big leagues, but will take that start tomorrow with the vacancy in the rotation. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Our next telecast comes your way at 6:30 with Astros Live tomorrow. That Russell and Myers matchup, and then we're back on My 20 Wednesday night for Wandy Rodriguez and Carlos Zambrano. It's 3 balls, no strikes. Del Rosario pitched a couple of innings Saturday night. First 2 outings of the year were scoreless. That one is ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Pena. 3rd walk for Astros pitching.
Enerio's game is good running, sinking fastball. Moves away from the lefties, in on the righties. Needs to keep the ball down.
Well, this spring he looked good, and an ERA of 0. Had that good sinker going. A 2-inning stint for him Saturday night, the longest by an Astros reliever this year so far. Soriano facing him now, 1 for 2, an RBI double to right. Soriano looks at ball 1. Bouncer over the mound goes out to England at second. He makes the tag, safe at first. Pena did well in base running and stopping and making England come after him, which gave the batter runner Soriano time to reach.
Yeah, it's the base runner's taught, do not get tagged by a middle infielder on a ground ball like that. And Pena slams on the brakes, forces England to chase him down, excuse me. And by the time he does, Soriano is hustling down the line, able to beat the rap at first base.
Now Tyler Colvin, he's 0 for 2. Looking at ball.
Perfectly done there by Pena. Sometimes on a play like that, you'll see the middle infielder go after the base runner, not get him, throw to first for the out there, and then they've got the lead runner hung up in a rundown. But Pena was too close to second base to do that. If you throw to first, Pena's just going to waltz into second. You wouldn't have had a play on him.
Got to get that lead runner. 2 balls, no strikes. If you're England in that situation, no matter what. Rudy Jaramillo, former Astros hitting coach, there on the bench, performing that function for the Chicago Cubs. They hired him after he had worked effectively for the Texas Rangers. And he said last year he loves those day games at Wrigley Field. Just have dinner with the family.
Probably wasn't too fond of the day games up in Arlington.
Good point.
A lot of hitters around baseball who give Rudy Jaramillo a lot of credit.
Yes, they do. Well, along about July and August in Arlington, day games can be pretty sultry. 3 balls and a strike. The Cubs will be headed for Colorado in their next series. The Rockies are at New York, and they're playing the Mets tonight. Tied 4-4 after 6. Tim Burdach's in there right now for the Mets. That's a walk, the second of the inning, and now Del Rosario faces Soto with 2 on and 1 out.
Del Rosario gets such good movement, sometimes it's hard to command it. He's shooting for the corners, but the ball has so much run, it's running off the outside edge. He has to be willing to start that ball over the plate and just rely on his good natural movement.
It's Chicago and Houston, the first of a 3-game series, and it's been all Cubs so far. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth. 2 men on here in the fifth with 1 out. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Greg Lucas with you tonight. And Arnsberg is with an Ariel Del Rosario right now.
And he has the kind of movement where his game plan should not be predicated on the notion of missing bats. Go ahead, start it at the middle of the plate, keep it down, let that good movement move the ball away from the barrel and on the hands on the right-handed hitters and away from the lefties out towards the end of the bat, and just, you know, let them hit ground balls, let them put it in play, keep it down with that good movement, and you've got a pretty good chance.
Soto has hit a fly ball to center, and he is struck out. Ball 1. Del Rosario, 25 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Just 11 games in the major leagues last season. The Astros claimed him on trade waivers from Cincinnati in September. Ripped on a line. Johnson double play throw to England. It's a 5-4 double play on the liner by Soto. Soriano's doubled off, and it's no runs, no hits, and a man left for the Cubs, who lead it 5-0. Nine in a row. He struck out 5 in a row, and the Cubs record for consecutive strikeouts by a starter was set by Mark Pryor against the Astros in 2002. He struck out 7 straight against the Astros. Chris Johnson into right center field. Colvin in. It's a looping single. And there is hit number 2 for the Astros. The second ball they have hit out of the infield tonight. Well, 9 straight had been set down by Dempster. Johnson picked on the first pitch. Right there in the zone, and Chris took it out to right center. After the day off yesterday, he comes back and he's 1 for 2. Getting something started for Joe Inglet. Inglet struck out in the second with 2 men on for out number 2. Mike Pelfrey started tonight for the Mets against Jason Hamill for the Rockies. They're tied 4-4. Todd Helton not in the lineup for Colorado. To right field. Colvin back, and he snags it. Here's Johnson getting back to first, and the throw in not in time on a pretty well hit ball by Inglet. It was a looping liner, and it came down on the warning track in Colvin's glove. 1 out. Tyler ran to that exact spot to take care of the first play in this inning. Now it's Humberto Quintero. That's a good way to get back. He ran just directly, turned his shoulders early, got turned the right way. No wasted movement there in that route. Quintero with Matt Downs on deck. Preparing to pinch hit for Del Rosario with bullpen action for the Astros. There's ball 1. Q grounded out to Carlos Pena in the first. And that was the Astros' threat. The only one they've had so far. They had the first 2 men on in that second inning and didn't score. Wilton Lopez warming up now. Rolled to third base. Aramis Ramirez with extra time takes care of the second out. Johnson to second base.
Well, just considering we got a couple balls out of the infield this inning. There'd only been 1 prior to this inning.
It's an improvement. Now it's Matt Downs pinch hitting for Del Rosario. An Ario in 1 inning. No hits, no runs. Walk 2. Did not have a strikeout. Downs is 2 for 8 this season, driving in 2. He had the game winner with 2 outs in the 9th at Cincinnati on Thursday. Yesterday he got his first start of the season at third base, going 1 for 4 with an RBI double. And in the 7th inning he lined out hard to left field yesterday. Had good swings of the bat in that game. Looking at ball 1. The Astros 1 for 12 in the pinch hitting department this season. Brad Mills putting Downs in there here with 2 outs in the inning and Michael Bourne on deck. Mr. catches the corner with good movement there to make it 1-1.
Yeah, it's the kind of pitch you don't want to deal with as a hitter until you have to with a couple of strikes, say. Otherwise, let it go.
Broken bat looper over first base into shallow right field for a pinch single and making an RBI single for Matt Downs. 5-1, scoring Chris Johnson from second. First pinch RBI by an Astro this year.
Comes off the fastball away with a little slider or a cutter off the outside corner. Not a bad pitch at all. Up a little bit, but right off the end of the bat. Matt broke his bat. Able to get run number 1 home for the Astros.
Michael Bourne is grounded out and struck out. Dempster throwing ball 1 to him. Dempster was sailing along with 9 straight outs until Chris Johnson opened this frame with a single. RBI for Downs, his 3rd of the season. It's 2-0. Mentioned that Todd Helton's not in the Rockies lineup. Ty Wigginton's playing first base tonight. There was a story that Helton is having back problems and he's gone back to Colorado for an exam, according to that story. Foul ball there.
Frustrating for a hitter. 2 balls, no strikes to check swing foul ball. That's a time where, even though Michael's not a big slugger, if you're going to swing, turn it loose. And we talked earlier about situational hitting when we talked about Q's at bat with 2 outs and a couple of men on at the 8-hole hitter. And even though Michael's primary job is to get on base, 2 balls, no strikes with 2 outs and a man on. That's when you're looking to inflict some damage. He's capable. Pulling that ball into the corner and chasing Downsy around the base.
Yeah, he is. Happy campers over that way.
He took it from me so he could hold it up. Didn't he used to coach the Jets?
I think he did. Weeb Eubank.
That's it.
Right there.
Come on, Weeb.
Weeb lived in Oxford, Ohio. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The cradle of coaches, they call Oxford, Ohio, because so many good coaches
is that right?
came from Miami of Ohio. And another guy who lived close to there in Dartown, Ohio, Walter Alston, Dodger skipper for all those years.
Jimmy Leland, he's from Ohio, right?
That's true. Little bouncer goes foul first base side. Michael Bourne hangs in at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Downs back to first. In a game like this, the Astros had a golden opportunity in the second, failed to cash in. Now they're in the 5th inning, so the opportunities must be cashed if they're to come back and win this one from behind.
Pretty strong bullpen that Mike Quade has here with the Chicago Cubs, too, so you don't want to have too big of a hill to climb late in the ball game.
That's a good point. Kerry Wood has rejoined the Cubs this year. He's in their bullpen. Runner going, and it's strike 3 to end the 5th inning with strikeout number 7 for Ryan Dempster. 1 run, 2 hits for the Astros. They strand a man, and it's 5-1 Cubs.
It's a 105 game. Dog Day tickets include a bullpen box seat for you and your pooch, and the Pooch Parade, and a costume contest. Astros.com/dogday for information and tickets.
The Padres are here. They feature a lot of dogs out at Petco Park.
Thought you were making a personal statement about their personnel.
No. Oh. They had a very good year last year. Not sure what they have this year.
They're harsh, man.
Wouldn't call them dogs at this early stage.
Black is going to take issue with you, pal.
Yes, he is. He's coming after me. There's strike 1 to Ryan Dempster.
Well, 4-4. I mean, that's not too bad.
No, it's not. Wilton Lopez in the game. And Wilton has been touched up a little bit by neuritis in his right elbow, but completely cleared to keep pitching, obviously. So he's back out on the mound after working Friday and Saturday in the Florida series. 6 pitches on Saturday against the Marlins and a 1-batter appearance. And he got a strikeout.
Wow, good heater there. It is Dempster. Yeah, so he's kind of overqualified for this job, pitching in a game where the Astros were down 4 runs in the 6th inning. The primary setup man for Brandon Lyon is Wilton Lopez, but Mills probably wants to get him an opportunity to get an inning of work here in kind of a low stress situation, make sure everything's feeling good.
Not a bad thought. Top of the order has been doing a lot of damage. 3 hits from Castro, 2 from Barney and a walk, 2 from Bird, and 2 runs batted in.
Yeah, that may be the other part of it. He just wants to make sure he has somebody out there, give him a chance to get these 2 guys out at the top of the order.
It might be. Lopez very reliable last year. You noticed when he pitched Friday night, he really didn't have movement on the ball. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs in 1 inning, and got a blown save and a loss in the 4-3 game. Came in with a 2-1 lead in the 8th, but he had that movement back when he came out Saturday night. You see, he threw 10 pitches Friday. But things were happening as they attacked him early in the count, and I think maybe that's a factor of him not walking many at all last year.
No, they're up there ready to hit, and because he does attack the strike zone, throw strike one a high percentage of the time, always around the plate. So, and if you don't have that good movement, then you're obviously vulnerable. But usually he does. Usually he's got very good sink on his fastball and pretty good action on the slider.
And they're very happy that he ran that ball down and in on a right-handed batter so they could get a foul ball. Wilton from Nicaragua gets a foul ball there. Count staying at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Darwin Barney's on deck. It's the White Sox 1, Oakland nothing. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Chicago. Brent Littlebridge has homered, his first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. St. Louis just underway at Arizona. Failed to score in the top of the 1st inning. Kyle McClellan is making his 2nd major league start in that game for the Redbirds. Albert Pujols continues to struggle at the plate. That's been a surprise to some, although it certainly isn't enough games for anybody to be concerned about in St. Louis. But nonetheless, Albert Pujols usually doesn't go 5 for 35 as he has done so far this year for a 143 batting average, his lowest through the first 9 games of any season in his career.
Yeah, he'll probably be all right.
It's a high standard he's set in his career. He's never had an off year. He's just been like a machine. Yeah, you might figure at some point the normal occurrence in sports would hit him, but it hasn't so far. No slumps of any duration, no injuries to amount to anything. Just a stellar production throughout his career. Yeah, it was, but pretty good that the hitter fouled it off. He's going to his 10th pitch in this at bat. He's fouled a couple of those sinkers down and in.
Yeah, that's one. As a pitcher, you want that ball put in play. I mean, you make that pitcher get good run in on his hands. You're hoping he gets that ball to third or short.
They want it again, and he goes for it and fouls it again. Okay, now where are you going to go with his next pitch?
Well, you see what they've tried to do. Fastballs in, sliders away, and that's the thing with Wilton. That's kind of his game. He doesn't have a third option. He does have a changeup, but he almost never throws it. If he had a good soft curveball, say, this would be a good time to break it out. Because right now he's not able to fool Castro. Catch him way out in front. He's got him pretty well timed, and he's in swing mode. So he's expanding to hit the ball out away from him. He's fighting off that pitch running in on him. So if you had something way off speed, you might really twist him in knots, but Wilton doesn't have that pitch. He's just going to keep trying to make quality pitches and hope he puts it in play somewhere.
Tell you what, it's pretty impressive what Castro's doing.
He's got a whole lot of swings, and according to Pitch Tracks, only one in the zone. And that's what I'm this is the point where sometimes as a pitcher you want to look at the hitter and go, just here you go, fastball, and try to throw a four-seamer right down the middle with no movement. Just go ahead.
Here's the pattern. He got it.
He did go soft.
He sure did. 13 pitch at bat. Lopez wins. Changing speeds.
We talk so much about quality at bats, but how about the work by Lopez throughout that? Because if you throw that many pitches, percentages say you're going to make a mistake. You're going to hang a breaking ball or groove a fastball, and he never did.
Darwin Barney has been another thorn, as has Castro on the Astros side tonight. Barney with an RBI triple, an infield hit, and a walk on all 3 times. Lopez missing there. Falls behind 2-0 now. Alberto Arias continues to be healthy, working his way back, throwing to hitters in Florida. And if the Astros are ready at some point, once he proves that his arm is sound again, to start him out in the minor leagues, he has 30 days of rehab time. That's a 4-pitch walk. Castro made Lopez work hard, and then he lost Barney on 4 pitches.
Well, Alberto could stay in Florida and work himself into, pretty good pitching shape. And as a short reliever, guys are only going to be asked to give you an inning or 2. He wouldn't need a whole lot of rehab time.
That's a good point.
Not like a starter where you've got to build up the innings and get him ready to give you 6 innings when he first goes out there.
Marlon Byrd's 2 for 2, 2 runs batted in. That's up for ball 1 to Byrd. He caught a fly ball the other day at Wrigley. You know how the birds come in at the end of a day game, and the ball almost hit one of those birds. But he was able to concentrate and catch it in center field to end the game.
It's amazing how those birds read the scoreboard at Wrigley Field. They know it's about to end. It's uncanny. They come in. It's like the movie The Birds. So they just start hovering around Wrigley in the 9th inning.
Every time we go there for a day game, along about the 8th and 9th inning, we start looking for Tippy Hedren. Strike. That makes it 2-1.
Suzanne Plachette too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Bird rolls one off his foot. It rolls up the first base line to Brett Wallace. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hitters, I hate to hit off of guys with really good movement. If you throw 100 miles an hour, that's not a lot of fun to try to catch up to that. But if it's straight, hitters don't mind. But it's this movement is maddening for a hitter. I think they've got a pretty good measure of things, and all of a sudden that ball's running in on their thumbs, and they get jammed, and they're fouling off their shin. So then they cheat to get out in front of it a little bit, and you throw them that good slider away, and they look silly. That's the theory anyway.
It is. I was talking with the scout in Philadelphia about the radar guns. A couple of scouts were saying, well, they have radar guns, but they don't even bring them to the ballpark anymore. They said it's too much of a hassle. We just take our readings off the scoreboard or off the monitor or whatever. Fernando Abad warming up now for the Astros. But they were talking about how those reports get to the hitters and how they're interpreted. And they said, if you're scouting, you do not want to make the mistake of putting down on paper that a guy throws 92 when he really throws 95. The hitters will not forgive you for that. Wallace takes it and on to first. They can cheat the other way and it's fine. They just say, well, he's having an off day.
Don't make it look easy for me.
5-1 Cubs. Pitch strike. Angel is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Top 3 hitters combined 0 for 7 for the Astros and haven't reached base. Bounced to second. Darwin Barney. There's been a huge contrast in the top couple hitters for these two clubs and the way they performed in this game so far. Top 2 for the Astros, 0 for 6. Top 2 for the Cubs, 5 for 6. With a couple of walks. Hunter Pence is grounded out and struck out. Strike 1 to Hunter. Dempster missing there, and it goes to a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Of course, the Cubs will be counting on Dempster to do his usual share of the load. Carlos Zambrano seems to be a much better pitcher. After his time away from the game last year, he came back strong.
Pick up Matt Garza.
Yeah.
Hard throwing righty from Tampa Bay. He's got outstanding stuff. Had, what, 12 strikeouts in his Cub debut?
So 2 balls and a strike to Hunter. They have that powerful bullpen you talked about. Hunter rolls it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's up to Mike Guadi to make it all work this year. He has spent his time paying dues, 17 years managing in the minors. Grounded and backhanded by Aramis Ramirez. Difficult play. Safe at first. Throws in the dirt. Pena tried to pick it. Got his mitt on it. Couldn't hold it on the low throw from Ramirez. It seemed that he had accomplished the difficult part of the play, but then his throw bounced.
Yep. And he gets an error because of the throw. Real nice play with the glove. And this is all about Pence's hustle down the line. He took Ramirez out of his rhythm. You can see it in that replay. He's trying to set himself, and whoop, he's got to hurry that throw. Throws a little sink piece over there, and you can't pick it.
That's a good point. See his glove, how low that is? I want to ask you about that. Carlos Lee, the batter.
It's kind of like a quarterback that gets rushed.
Right.
Has to unload before he's ready.
Exactly. Ideally, shouldn't your left arm with a glove be out about shoulder level when you're drawing your right arm back, or is that just a myth or just a textbook?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I have to ask
well, that's somebody knows anything about this game.
But it did look like he rushed it, as you made that point, because the glove was so low and just looked out of sync with the arm.
Yeah, the natural rhythm when you break your hands is for your glove hand to come out in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, he looked up and saw Hunter, and it did appear that he rushed that. Maybe he opened up a little bit with the left shoulder, and the throw went low. But we'll ask the experts about it after the game.
I don't think position players think in terms of that. I mean, it just happens for them naturally.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things that happen naturally for you on the field. You're not thinking about where your glove hand goes as an infielder when you're making a throw.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about major league players or professional athletes at the top level of any sport. They'll violate textbook rules that you might teach a kid, but they're so good they can get away with it. He is caught looking. That's out number 2. Some of them believe and tell you, well, don't do it the way I do it.
Yeah, look at Jeff Bagwell's batting stance.
Yeah.
He used to always issue that blanket apology to all the youth league coaches around Houston because all the kids wanted to imitate either he or Craig. And, sorry, guys, you're all these 10-year-olds squatting down up there at home plate.
Brett Wallace takes ball 1. He's walked and grounded out. Infield shifts around, and that's the way teams have been playing Brett Wallace. It's 2 balls and no strikes. They plan to pull on the infield, but not in the outfield. Fouls that one away, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. In a game like this, looked like that pitch might be an example of it. Dempster has a 5-1 lead. He didn't want to go to a 3-0 count on Wallace. So Brett did see something he could swing at. Might be a little bit different. Dempster in a tie ball game.
And the thing about Dempster, though, he put a little cut on that fastball. Just rarely does he just give in and throw one right down Broadway.
It's not being his nature to do that. He just doesn't want to give in. One year he walked 112. That was way back in 01 to lead the league. That was in 211 innings. And yet he was 15-12. And there's a walk. So even though he didn't want to do that, let's walk the walls.
It's like the at-bat he had with Michael earlier in the game when he struck him out with that 3-2 breaking pitch when we talked about at the time that the book said be aggressive here. He just doesn't want to give in. He'd rather try to make a pitch there even if he walks the guy, start fresh and move count with a different hitter.
Reeled off 9 straight outs. And now the pitch count, as you saw, around 90. Chris Johnson, the batter, he's 1 for 2. Scored the run after a single.
The approach he's taking is admirable if it works, but there's some downside risk. If he makes a mistake here and CJ pops one, it's an extra run on the board because of that walk.
Yeah. It's a 5-4 ball game. Strike to CJ. Chris, a .333 career hitter against the Cubbies with 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. Check swing and up. There's Paul for swinging. Bruce Dreckman. It's 0-2. It was not a check swing. Joe Inglett's on deck. One ball, 2 strikes. Benson Wallace, the base runners. The Astros got an opening when Pence reached on the error by Ramos Ramirez. Rockies just got 3 in the top of the 8th to lead 7-4 at New York. Tulowitzki hit his 4th homer.
Starting with take a look at Chris Johnson so far this evening. Good play, maybe saved a run or 2. Started a double play after snaring that line drive. Got himself a knock last time up. Came around to score. Matt Downs for a good base hit. Got a battle here.
And he does, keeping the count of 1-2. Dave Clark will toss it up to a fan.
Clark spent some time in a Cub uniform, did he not?
He did. Yeah. With the Pirates as well.
Started with Cleveland, I believe. And was an Olympic caliber boxer.
Yes.
In his youth. I mean, big time boxing prospect.
You know, coaches, though, if there's an altercation on the field, have to be peacemakers.
I don't remember Ed Ott dropping Andy McGaffigan on his head when Otter was coaching with us back in the day.
Yeah, he spiked him.
Otter was
he got in a lot of trouble.
Was a big time wrestler in high school, and he had that low center of gravity. Picked up Andy, just drove him into the ground.
Yes, he did. Now it's 3-2, and the runners go. So Chris Johnson has a chance to really tighten up this ball game.
And the one thing we know about Dempster and his approach tonight is that there's no guarantee that he's going to give in here. You just have to be ready to hit both the breaking ball and the fastball. So you can't come out of your game plan and just convince yourself sell out on a fastball. Not to say he won't get one, but you got to protect against the slider as well.
Good point. Benson Wallace ready to run and foul back.
He has a lot of confidence in that slider. He'll tighten it up and make it a little smaller So that's kind of his give-in pitch. He doesn't want to groove a fastball, but he feels pretty comfortable that he can throw that slider over the plate, moving towards the outside edge.
This will be his 25th pitch of the inning. Runners go, and it's fouled again.
And the slider bottomed that fastball, allowed him to get away with throwing that fastball there at 91, and CJ a little bit behind him because he did have to protect against the slider. You could really, you could question his approach to Wallace, being cautious. In retrospect, probably should have been more aggressive. But Joe England on deck, not a real power threat, so unlikely he's going to give in to CJ here.
In the dirt, ball four. The bases are loaded now to England.
Good recognition by CJ the situation, knowing what Dempster's been about tonight.
It really was. Called off a couple pitches, took ball four. Now Mike Quaddy on the bullpen.
Because we talk a lot about it, the mentality of trying to be a hero and turning into a zero, because you just convince yourself you're going to get something you can juice. You got to kind of stay back and see the ball and not get too jumpy.
Mark Riggins is the new Cubs pitching coach. On his way to the mound. Carlos Silva is not very complimentary of Riggins, but Silva's now gone. Dempster over 100 pitches. Gets the visit.
Carlos Silva was signed to the minor league contract by the Yankees this couple of days.
Yeah, they've been rounding up the veteran types. Riggins back with his bases loaded situation. And it's England. England with that line drive to right field, reaching the warning track in the 5th inning. He's 0 for 2, struck out earlier. He is 0 for 7 as an Astro. John Grayball and Jeff Stevens are warming up for the Cubs. Grayball the lefty. England bounces one to second. Barney over to Pena. No runs, no hits. 1 error, 3 left after 6, 5-1 Cubs. Tickets score you a mezzanine seat and all you can eat hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, peanuts, soda, and water for only $30. Take advantage of one of the best values in the ballpark and buy your tickets at Astros.com tonight. So that little guy can pack in all he wants to for that kind of an all you can eat ticket. They are going for it tonight.
Some go for the sweets, some prefer the savory. We got you covered.
Fernando Abad is pitcher number 4 to work for Brad Mills in this game. Wilson Lopez worked 1 hitless inning with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. Abad Moves in for the 7th inning, and it's Aramis Ramirez facing him. Abad's 1-1 with a 5.40 ERA. And there's strike one to Ramirez, who's 0 for 3.
Up and down here in the early going for Fernando. Pitched very well with the Astros last year in limited duty. Recurring theme tonight, the Astros have been trying to go inside on these right-handed sluggers, have not been able to go in there effectively very often.
And floats away, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Abad, in that game against Florida last time out on Saturday, took the loss, giving up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. 2-2. He came in with the score tied 4-4 in the 7th. The outing prior to that, he got his first major league win at Cincinnati on Thursday.
I don't think Aramis was trying to punch a single the other way there.
No. He was looking for the light tower on that one. Three balls, 2 strikes. We've seen a few of those shots in this ballpark off the light tower in left center field.
Those are kind of fun.
They are.
As long as you're not on the mound.
Yeah. Sosa, one of those.
Scott Ellerton, I believe.
Sounds about right. Popped up. Out of play. Well, Scotty was battling some shoulder problems back then. How would you like to take him out facing Sosa in this ballpark and know that you're just not healthy?
Yeah, well, I've been there, done that. Not Sosa, but you know, there are times when you're out there in the mound and you know, I need to get lucky here tonight. Whether it's in the game in general or just in a specific matchup against a given hitter, sometimes you go, I just do not have an answer for this guy.
That's ball 4. Ramirez takes the leadoff walk. Abad, who pitched well for the Astros last year, now goes from the stretch against Carlos Pena, who has walked twice tonight and grounded out. $20,175 is the paid attendance tonight. And, you know, with the young bullpen, other than Brandon Lyon, for the Astros, the usual chart is not necessarily a straight line of improvement for young relievers. There are going to be some zigs and zags. That's a good quality pitch for strike one.
Yeah, it puts a little extra pressure on Brad Mills and Brad Arnsberg as they'll go forward to try to sort things out. Putting these guys in the right situations where they can have success, gain confidence. But, you know, that's the difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues. In the minor leagues, it's so much about development. At the big leagues, it's about winning.
Sure is. Infield shifted around. Pena takes 1-1. England really playing Pena to pull. In fact, he's taking away that hole created by the base runner. Might be about as close as I've seen a first and second baseman together defensively.
Well, it was like earlier when he had that shot and he was kind of behind Wally.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So there's no need for Brett Wallace to move aggressively off the bag with the pitch. He could pretty much stay put, cover that line. There's absolutely no chance that the Astros will turn a 6-4 3-double play here.
Popped up. Chris Johnson over into foul territory.
Oh, Lewis wouldn't have been able to get to second base on a ground ball to short from where England was.
Bobby Dernier, speedy Cubs outfielder in his days, the coach at first base for Chicago. Ivan De Jesus at third for the Chicago ball club. Ivan De Jesus kind of like Cheo, isn't he? He looks like he's still playing. Soriano is 1 for 3. with an RBI. Broken bat, foul ball.
It's more the norm now in Major League Baseball. Like coaches are always, Dave Clark, you talked about his boxing career. Used to be, you had a lot of like frumpy old guys in the coaching staff. I don't have that much anymore. Doesn't look like we can still play.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, it used to be a manager used to have his best friend as one of the coaches, right? Might be a 70-year-old guy he had known for a long time. Somebody who mentored him.
Drinking buddy.
Things have changed indeed. Makeup of the coaching staff. A certain number of coaches have to be able to throw batting practice. Well, you've got to be in good condition to throw BP for 20 minutes. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 2-1. Abad missing outside with a breaking pitch. Mets got a homer from David Wright, his second of the year. They're batting in the home 8th, trailing the Rockies 7-5. Tampa Bay 12, Boston 4 in the top of the 9th at Fenway. Sam Fold hit a homer.
He really pulled the string on that change. It wasn't in a good spot, but he took so much off of it.
Sure did.
You know, think about executing the chin high changeup. It worked.
Now that was a good replay of his swing to show the effect of the changeup on his balance. Fly ball left field toward the corner. Carlos Lee comes over. Right there on the warning track. 2 outs. Now that previous swing, you could just see Soriano had already transferred his weight, just trying to keep his hands back. Tyler Colvin, he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Johnny Damon has gone deep tonight for Tampa Bay.
Started the ball game, I believe, with a home run. He's got 2. Fold hit his first. Ellsbury's got 2 for Boston, but it's 12-4 Tampa. I imagine the Bluebirds are out big time at Fenway.
Oh, yeah. They strike 1. Just when the Red Sox got that fine game last night from Beckett. Now they are getting thumped again, and they have had their lumps from the mound this year. Inglet to his right, drops it, recovers, throws, and gets him. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. Moving to the bottom of the 7th inning, the Cubs lead the Astros 5-1. Cubs lead at 5-1. Mark Melanson's warming up for the Astros, who will use a pinch hitter here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Fans are enjoying their 7th inning stretch on a gorgeous night at Minute Maid Park. Meanwhile, Ryan Dempster and the Cubs have set a nice tone for Mike Quade, out hitting the Astros 8-3. Dempster retired 9 straight Astros over one stretch. He got out of bases loaded trouble in the 6th. Here's Humberto Quintero, who's 0 for 2, leading off the home 7. That one sails high. Ball 1 for Dempster, with Bill Hall getting ready to pinch hit next for Abad. Quintero's grounded out both times.
Astros needed big inning, and a lot of times big innings start at the bottom of the order. Q could reach. Hall get on there, and then the lineup turns over. A little something done against Dempster.
Dempster pumps one in for strike 1. Cardinals just scored a run in the top of the 3rd at Arizona for Kyle McClellan to take a 1-0 lead. Now back, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kirk Gibson has his team running. They've done a lot of work on preventing stolen bases this year. Arizona 4-4. St. Louis is 3-6 to open the season. Foul back. It's still 2-2 to Q.
So Gibby's got the Diamondbacks stealing bags out there.
Yeah, he does, and hasn't had Stephen Drew, so when he gets him back, he'll get a little more speed in the lineup, although Willard Bloomquist has certainly filled in very well at shortstop. Got some speed on that club. Dempster's at 105 pitches for the night. Oakland just got a run in the ninth to tie the White Sox 1-1. Now the White Sox batting in the bottom half. Fastball gets a strikeout. That's 9 for Dempster.
Stretch of 5 in a row in the 3rd and 4th innings. Melanson heating it up in the Astros pen. Yeah, you know, Upton, Chris Young, they're speedy guys for the D-backs.
Bill Hall's a pinch hitter now for Abad. Fernando in 1 inning, allowing no hits, no runs. He had 1 walk with no strikeouts. Hall, a 188 hitter with 1 RBI, nonetheless on a 5-game hitting streak right now. During those 5 games, he's hit 294. Thinking bunt, and it's ball 1. It's all about the Astros trying to get some base runners now. They had 3 of them in the 6th inning, but then Inglett grounded out to end that bases loaded threat, but it was on an error and 2 walks. So only 3 hits allowed by Dempster, all of them singles. The pinch RBI single by Matt Downs in the 5th has provided the only Houston run of the night. 1-1 as they enjoy the souvenir. Bill Hall, after tonight, will need only 5 more games to reach 1,000 games played in his major league career. He punches this one up the right field line. Colvin with a long run. The ball slicing away from him, and that's into the corner. And Bill Hall is taking the torque. An opposite field pinch home run for Bill Hall. And the Astros get a long ball as he punches it to right field, and it carries for his first as an Astro.
Almost enough when he first hit it, but right down the right field line. Astros pinch hitters with both the RBIs tonight. The whole key to that, I think, just staying on the ball, not trying to pull it, ball out away from him. Displaying some pretty strong hands right there.
Does that mean free chicken sandwiches for everybody? He hit it off the foul pole, didn't he?
That's right.
It's the 6th career pinch homer for Bill Hall.
We better get clarification on that. I assume that's in play this year, but I don't know for sure.
All right, we'll have to check on that.
Nothing else. I think it means free chicken sandwiches for you and I.
Okay. All right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Need more foul, it says on the foul pole. And this one's hit well to right field by Michael Bourne. Colvin backing, looking up, and back to back. Nope. Michael Bourne into second base. It didn't quite get out.
How did that not get out of
Well, it sure looked like it was going to be a homer. Bourne looking out there. Here comes Brad Mills now. They got it.
Top of the wall.
Let's see.
This one will likely be reviewed. These fans are calling home run.
Yes, they are.
Of course, they're just a little bit biased. Here. Let's take a look. Well, that's right off the top of the wall. It's a double.
Oh, so close.
Like 3 inches more.
Is that a railing there behind the wall? No.
No, you can see the pad give a little bit.
Yeah. That's going to be double. Yeah, the pad gets mashed down a little bit by the ball, then it hits that railing, but it's meant to be flush on top of it. So now the umpires are going to review this call. And a good time to put that video replay into use here at Minute Maid Park tonight. And of course, the staff in New York, for all kinds of different angles, will help in this to determine if the fair ball is fair or foul, or the home run. Did it leave the field? Managers cannot demand a replay preview.
Been a lot of talk in the last couple of off seasons about expanding instant replay and reviewable calls, and so far there's not been any additions. It seems to me, with all this technology we have now, that the umpire, the crew chief could have a phone in his pocket or some kind of a device that somebody could call him right there on the field.
Yeah.
Saying that we've had a closer look at it. It's not a home run. Play ball.
Seemed to hit right on top of the padding and then pop back into play.
Yep. One more scoop of Wheaties for breakfast this morning would have been the difference.
So it still could be back-to-back homers, but the umpires will decide that after looking at the video. Brad Mills went out. This is a good time to use that. This is our first review of the season in an Astros game. Doesn't happen all that often.
Marlon Byrd right there talking to Soriano, and they're saying, "You believe that ball went out of the ballpark that Bill Hall hit?"
It was surprising.
Just a short little stroke.
It really was. Well, they're leaving him at second base, so the ruling is double. Michael Bourne narrowly missing a homer, but that gives him a 6-game hitting streak as he gets his 5th double of the year. Nonetheless, it gets Angel Sanchez to the plate with a runner in scoring position and 1 out, and the Astros down by 3. Sanchez 0 for 3. The double by Bourne was hit number 5. The Astros did not have an extra base hit until this inning. Upstairs for ball 1. Pence on deck.
Not a situation where you would think Michael would be looking to steal third base, but because of his speed, you cannot discount it altogether if you're the Cubs.
Fly ball left field. This has got a shot. Soriano back to the wall, backing off the wall. 2-run homer. Homer, double homer for the Astros here in the 7th. Sanchez hits number 1. And now it's 5-4.
How about that? One near miss. Didn't matter. Angel cleaned it up. Top of the order has been so productive for the Cubs tonight. Now the Astros respond. Bourne, double, Sanchez. 2-run homer, 1-run ball game. Angel normally hitting the ball in the middle of the field or the other way. This time he gets the head out in front. and yanks it into the Crawford boxes.
Angel Sanchez takes the tour for the first time as a major leaguer. You get that one back from a fan for his trophy case. Meanwhile, pitching change from Mike Quade. Ryan Dempster, who had that delay while they looked at the video replay, then gave up the long ball to Sanchez, 1 of 2 in the inning. Lefty John Graybo's been warming up. It's now 5-4 Chicago. Back in a moment. Unusual move here for Mike Quade, bringing in a lefty, John Graybo, to face righty hitting Hunter Pence. A bat gets away from Hunter, flies into the seats on the foul ball for strike 1. Ryan Dempster threw 115 pitches, 70 were strikes, going 6 1/3, allowing 6 hits, 4 runs, walking 3, fanning 9.
A couple of walks there in the 6th, was able to work his way around those 2 walks, but then a little bit more in the strike zone in the 7th, and the Astro hitters able to take advantage.
No decisions for John Graybo with a hold, a 3.38 ERA for 2 2/3 innings. Hunter Pence 1 for 5 in his career against Graybo. Graybo pitched 2 days ago at Milwaukee, 1/3 of an inning. That was his last appearance. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Kerry Wood gave up a walk and a homer yesterday. And Jeff Samardzija, another right-hander, has had his problems with control. He's walked 8 in 3 innings. Strike to Hunter, and it's 2-2.
They're both always been able to compete against right-handed hitters because of that good changeup he just showed there.
Jeff Stevens, another right-hander in the bullpen, just called up. He hasn't pitched in a game yet. And they also have Marcus Mateo. But they go with a lefty, Graybo. 1 of 2 lefties, Sean Marshall, a very effective southpaw, is available tonight as Dempster leaves with a 5-4 lead. Foul back. Cubs bullpen 2-2 with a 3.70 ERA with 3 blown saves in 7 opportunities. Graybo goes to a full count on Pence. Carlos Lee on deck. Ball 4. Hunter Pence draws the walk. With 1 out, he's aboard for Carlos Lee, who's 1 for 3.
Shaping up as a nice, easy night at the ballpark for Mike Quade has all of a sudden turned tense. Rob Mills feeling awfully good about his club's chances all of a sudden. A breakdown on Graybo in his career in terms of batting average, left and right, very similar.
Ball one to Carlos Lee. He is 2 for 12 in his career against this lefty. They would certainly erupt with shouts of joy if he hit one up there. Line drive left for a hit. Hunter will take a turn. Hold on at second with Soriano fielding it cleanly on the single by Lee. He's now 2 for 4. But Graybo has allowed a walk and a hit. Now lefty Brett Wallace comes up.
Hanging changeup right there. Lucky that one hit up on the railroad track.
Wallace did not face Graybo last year. Tonight Brett has grounded out and walked twice. It's ball one. 8 hits for the Cubs, 7 for the late rallying Astros here. With 2 homers and a double to go with a single and a walk in this inning. It's 1-1. The Astros have certainly tightened that gap. It was 5-1 when they came up in this inning. Graybo, a former Pittsburgh Pirate, has a 1-1 pitch coming. Now by Wallace, 1-2.
Change up the go-to pitch for him. He just threw another one, drifting it in, trying to catch Wally way out in front. That one probably higher than he wanted to. It almost looks like Graybo wasn't completely ready to come into this game. His stuff is not particularly crisp.
Spent some time on the 60-day DL last year. Torn ligament in his left knee. Wallace hits one in the air. Soriano backing on it. Hunter will just force a throw to third. 2 outs. Now Chris Johnson. CJ has a single and a walk in 3 trips tonight. Graybo, a 3rd round choice of the Pirates in '97. Traded to the Cubs in '09. Graybo's from Arcadia, California. First came to the big leagues in '03 with the Buccos. And it's ball one to CJ. A 2-out hit here would certainly be welcomed by these fans. 1 ball, 1 strike with Joe Inglet on deck. Tampa Bay just got 4 in the top of the 9th. Boston batting in the bottom half, trailing 16-5. Up the middle with Barney stepping on second for the forced play. But the Astros now have created a 1-run Chicago lead, coming up with 3 runs on 4 hits, leaving 2. Pitch homer by Bill Hall. His first long ball as an Astro. And after a Bourne double, a 2-run shot by Angel Sanchez. And moving to the 8th, it's 5-4 Cubs. It's 5-4 now. The Cubs lead has been cut from 5-1 to that 1-run edge now, and the Astros have made some changes moving to the 8th inning. Joe Inglet has moved from second base. He's now playing third. Chris Johnson made the final out in the 7th inning. He leaves the game, and Bill Hall takes over at second base after pinch hitting for the pitcher. He's in the 9 spot. The new pitcher Mark Melancon goes into Chris Johnson's number 6 spot in the order, and he has an ERA of 0 for the season.
So far so good through 5 appearances, so the formula is easy. Get 6 outs, score a couple of runs, and he got a W.
Blake DeWitt, the lefty hitter, is on deck to bat in the pitcher's spot next as Gio Soto takes strike 1. He's 0 for 3. Sounds like a good formula. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Astros will have Inglet, Quintero, and Hall due up in the bottom of the 8th. As Hall stays in the game after delivering the pinch homer. Melancon is reliever number 4. If he falls into line with Del Rosario, Lopez, and Abad, they'll be awfully happy on that Houston bench. Those 3 have pitched hitless, scoreless ball tonight. Fly ball, center field. Michael Bourne waiting. It's 1 out for Melancon. Mark worked 1/3 of an inning yesterday. Didn't give up a hit through only 3 pitches. Now here's the pinch hitter Blake DeWitt. Batting for John Graybo. Graybo in 2/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit and no runs. Had a walk and no strikeouts. DeWitt grounds 1, and Bill Hall moves to his left. Over to Brett Wallace. 2 outs with lefty Sean Marshall warming up for the Cubs.
Yeah, Marshall, boy, he's coming off an outstanding year, and Carlos Marmol, the closer, has been awfully tough on everybody, but especially tough on the Astros over the years.
Now it's leadoff man Starlin Castro, 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored tonight, including a stolen base. Big night for the Cubs' young shortstop. Melancon delivers, and it's strike 1 for Mark. Melancon pitched twice against the Cubs last year. They did not score any runs off him. Bouncing the breaking ball. The count goes to 1-1. Cubs have out hit the Astros 8-7 with 1 Chicago error tonight. Good late action on that one. Takes Melancon to a 1-2 count now. Like some cutting action away there from Castro.
He really likes to throw his curveball, but that time he crossed him up, came with a good hard slider. There's the curveball.
The appeal goes to first. Check swing call by Bruce Dreckman. 2-2. A lot of bad movement.
That curveball can induce some funky swings. You know, we talk a lot about a 12-6 curveball, and very few guys have that just pure over the top, down-breaking curveball, but Melancon does.
Grounded foul. Ivan De Jesus knocks it down. Fernando Nieves back in the Astros organization. He was the starter last night for the Oklahoma City Red Hawks. And he took the loss as they fell to Memphis 7-1. Ground ball goes foul.
There's Castro again. The balls as he fouled off tonight.
A bunch. He got some kind of hand-eye coordination to be able to foul those pitches out of the strike zone, inside and outside. Oklahoma City 1-3 to open. Corpus Christi's 1-3 to open. And a swing at a curve in the dirt. A strikeout. Quintero with the throw to Wallace. In the 8th inning, Mark Melancon falls right into line. And as the 4th Astro reliever, to work a hitless frame. He keeps it close. 5-4 Chicago.
At 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. Brownie?
Thanks, Greg. It'll be the lanky left-hander Sean Marshall, who is listed at 6'7" and 220, coming in with a 1-0 record at 2.08 ERA. 3 holds, JD.
Yeah, he's turned himself into a very capable setup man, and started his career as a starting pitcher with the Cubs in 06 and 07, but morphed into a reliever the last couple of seasons. Last year, very good. 80 appearances out of the Cub bullpen with a 2.65 ERA.
Joe Inglet takes in at strike one. He is 0 for 3.
Standing strikeout numbers last year, 90 punch outs and 74 2/3. So nice left-right combination late in the game for the Cubs with Marshall and Marmol.
Breaking ball, looping liner, off the glove of Barney and into right field. Inglet picks up his first hit as an Astro, hanging in against a left-hander he had not faced before.
Big 6'7" left-hander. A bit of a sweeping arm angle too. Inglet hangs right in there and fights off a curveball.
Outstanding work by Inglet. Here it is.
Ooh, that's the adjustment he made with the hands.
Sure did. Right off Barney's glove. Now Ramos Ramirez creeps in tight at third with Quintero the batter. Bill Hall on deck. Cubs thinking the Astros might bunt Inglet along. Q is 0 for 3. He's around a bunt. Does put one down first base side. Carlos Pena tags him. There's the sacrifice. Inglet into second, 1 out. Q gets it down on the first pitch. Now Bill Hall. He punched a pinch homer off the right field foul pole in the 7th inning. That's what got it started for the Astros. It was 5-1 Cubs at the time with 1 out, and Dempster had just recorded his 9th strikeout on Quintero when Hall came to the plate.
It's a dangerous matchup for the Cubs. Billy Hall is 6 out of 7 in his career against Sean Marshall. 3 doubles and a home run.
Hall takes a curve and it's ball 1. Marshall has really grown into this setup role. He was drafted by the Cubs in 03 in the 6th round. Former starting pitcher. Last year he came out to the mound 80 times. Those are the numbers you discussed.
Gotta like his chances, don't you?
The odds have been overwhelmingly in his favor.
Yeah, 7 at bats is not a real big sample size, but when it's 6 out of 7, 3 doubles and a home run, you get the feeling he sees the ball pretty well off this big lefty.
You bet. Marshall pitched at Virginia Commonwealth. Riggins on the bullpen phone. Fastball makes it 1-2. And with that big frame, he can get some tilt.
Yeah, he does. He gets on top of the ball. The ball has a good downward angle when it gets into the hitting zone. And because of the big breaking pitch, he's able to get swings and misses with the fastball. Hitters have to be aware of that curveball.
He struck out 90 in 74 innings last year. Carlos Marmol's warming up for the Cubs. Brandon Lyon for the Astros. 2 closers getting ready. Back to the breaking pitch, and Hall looks at ball 2. Interesting matchup here, given the numbers and the situation. A 1-run lead with Inglett at second and 1 out in the 8th.
Barney, the second baseman, tucking in behind Inglett out there at second base, trying to shorten his lead.
Ball grounds to the left side, off the diving Ramirez glove into left field. Inglett had to get back to second. He goes to third on the hit by Hall. Good effort by Ramirez. But Hall is now 7 for 8 in his career against Marshall.
A risk Mike Quanti was willing to take with Michael Bourne, a left-handed bat, coming up next. And now Q's heading out to the mound. Interesting. Contemplating a pitching change or more of a strategy discussion with his infielders. Rolling is a base hit, properly so.
He's calling the infielders in. Bourne is 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts in his career against Marshall. Marshall got his 3rd career save Tuesday in the 6-5 win over Arizona. Marmol has been just an incredible reliever in the 9th inning, the most difficult pitcher to hit last year. What he might be thinking that Bourne, with runners at first and third, would utilize the bunt in this situation. With the tough left-hander on the mound, we'll see.
Talking about what they want to do on an attempted steal by Billy Hall down there at first base, and then again how they're going to play the infield. If you play for 2, Michael Bourne's awfully difficult to double up. If you don't get it, the tying run scores. That appears to be the strategy for the Cubs in the middle of the diamond.
Bourne cues 1 foul. There's strike 1. It's turned into a very interesting ball game. The Cubs finally going all their way when they got 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Then Dempster was mowing down the Astros, retiring 9 in a row over one stretch. It was 5-1 going to the bottom of the 7th.
A lot of things the manager contemplates in a situation like this. And Quanti certainly knows it would be difficult to double up Michael Bourne, but he's probably thinking, well, if I pull my infield in and he slaps it by him, Hall's going to go first to third on me. Now I'm dealing with a winning run on third base.
It's 0-2. The Cubs have played 9 games. 8 of them have been decided by 3 runs or less.
In this situation now with 2 strikes, Michael has to eliminate that leg kick and just really quiet the lower body and use his hands. Just put the ball in play.
Soto goes to the mound. James Russell makes his first major league career start here tomorrow night for the Cubs against Brett Myers. 1-2 to Bourne. Marshall has a career 2-4 record against Houston. Took a loss to the Astros last year. On a pitch double by Jason Michaels. And he strikes out Bourne. 2 outs. Now Sanchez up.
Now the pitching change. Got Marshall in there for the lefty on lefty matchup. Paid off. Michael has struck out for the 3rd time tonight.
Marshall's out of the game. The closer Carlos Marmol makes his way in with the score. Chicago 5, Houston 4. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. The action is here in downtown Houston, and it was a part of the 7th inning. Angel Sanchez, a 2-run homer. His first major league home run pulled the Astros to within 1 at 5-4. That's where it stands now as it comes around again in the 8th against the Cubs closer Carlos Marmol.
Home run would be great, but it's not easy to do against this guy. He allowed 1 last year in 77 2/3 innings of work. 1 home run. Wonder who got it. League hit 147 against him.
Sanchez 1 for 4.
That whirly bird slider drops down, throws a sidearm slider. Just absolutely unbelievably tough on right-handed hitters. He can be a little wild. He walked 52 last year in 77 innings.
He struck out 138.
Those are Xbox numbers.
They are. Well, Marmol was the toughest pitcher to make contact against last year. Hitters put 9.4% of his pitches into play, the lowest rate among hurlers with 500 pitches last year. 40% of his pitches were swung on and missed.
Yeah, I half jokingly threw it out there last year. I said, maybe you should just go up there and take every pitch.
Well, it's a thought. He's worked well with a 1.16 ERA.
I couldn't get anybody to buy in.
Now it's 2-2. Yeah, he's so tough on a right-handed batter, especially the way he drops down.
He gets a lot of swings on pitches out of his zone. He throws very few pitches in the strike zone, just enough.
And he is rested. His last outing was Friday when he got a save at Milwaukee. He gets a strikeout. That ends the Astros 8th inning with no runs, 2 hits. 2 runners stranded. Moving to the 9th, 5-4 Cubs. Lyon is 1 for 2 in saves. His ERA high, 11.57. Gave up 3 runs in 1/3 of an inning opening day in Philadelphia. But since then has pitched a couple of scoreless frames and got that first save Thursday in Cincinnati. That's the last time he's pitched, JD.
Yeah, so it makes sense to get him in this ball game. Keep the Cubs right there. You have a chance to pull it out here in the 9th. Got 2, 3, 4 coming up for Chicago. The bullpen for the Astros has been stellar this evening.
Pence, Lee, and Wallace due up in the Houston 9th inning. Here's number 2, Barney, leading off the 9th for Chicago. Barney has had a big impact on the game tonight. He's been on base all 4 times. 2 walks, an RBI triple, and an infield hit. Strike for Lyon. Sean Marshall in 2/3 of an inning for the Cubs allowed 2 hits, no runs with no walks. He struck out 1. Breaking ball produces a swing for strike 2 for Barney. So the Lions' mission to continue what has been started by Del Rosario, Lopez, Abad, Melanson. Send the Astros to the bottom of the 9th, trailing by 1.
And reflect back to that play Chris Johnson made in the 4th inning on Ramirez with a couple of runners in scoring position to keep the Cubs at 5. Could still prove to be a game saver.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, looking back, that is looking bigger and bigger right now. Cubs have stranded 8. The Astros have left 10 runners. The Astros left the bases loaded in the 6th inning. England grounded out against Dempster. Now 3-2.
He's got a pretty good idea at home plate. Got the scouting report on him early. We saw him a little bit last year. Very heady player.
All the way.
A good idea. The strike zone doesn't chase many bad balls.
His on base average is soaring up there tonight. On base all 4 times.
The cliche in baseball is you stay within yourself. Do what you're capable of doing. He seems to pretty good idea of what it's all about. Did he say that in other sports? Did he say it in the NFL? Stay within yourself. Seems to be a baseball thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in the NFL. I haven't heard it in the NBA or hockey. Maybe cricket.
Yeah, it's only bat games.
Little chop past the mound. They'll haul in. One-handed play, and he gets it over quickly to Wallace. 1 out.
Not an easy play, having to come hard. Barney runs well. Exmo. Get out around that ball a little bit. Handle that in between hop.
Marlon Byrd has a pair of run-producing singles in this game.
You get a sharp ground ball hit you and you have time. You like to turn that ball in your hand so you have a nice 4-seam grip to make a good true throw. But when you're on the move like that, you don't have time to adjust the grip. You just grab it and let it go.
It's 1-1. Aramis Ramirez is on deck. Out west, the Indians lead it at Anaheim over the Angels 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 4th with Mitch Talbot on the mound. As Drupal Cabrera hit his 4th home run already for Cleveland. Grounded to third. England. 2 outs. And Lyon 1 out away from giving Pence, Lee, and Wallace a shot, down by a run in the bottom of the 9th against Marmol. Aramis Ramirez is 0 for 3 with a walk. Toronto has a 2-0 lead at Seattle. They're in the top of the 3rd inning. Strike one to Ramirez. It's a 1-1 count. St. Louis 4, Arizona 1. They played 4 in the desert against Barry Enright. Kyle McClellan for the Cardinals. Good action there for Brandon Lyon, producing strike 2.
Lyon, when he had that rough outing on opening day in Philadelphia, pitches were fairly flat and his location wasn't there. When he's on his game, he can really hit his spots. Good example of it here, the way he's moving the ball in and out.
And he moves it for strike 3. Now the bottom of the 9th inning. Cubs 5, Astros 4. The Cubs leading now 5-4, had a 5-1 lead. They scored 5 runs in the first 4 innings. Since then, though, the bullpen has slammed the door. Del Rosario, Lopez, Abad, Melanson, Lyon, all pitching hitless baseball for the last 5 innings.
The bullpen has struggled somewhat here in the early goings. It's nice to see those guys step up and perform so well here tonight. And boy, if they can find a way to pull it out against Marmol, make it that much sweeter.
That's been tough in previous years. Hunter Pence fouls it back, strike 1. Hunter is 4 for 16 in his career with a couple of doubles against this right-hander. But Marmol with that career ERA 1.16 against Houston. And a lot of that damage came back in a start before he turned reliever back in 06. He gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings. As a reliever, the Astros finally broke through against him last year, but he had gone 24 straight outings without giving up a run to the Astros, covering 26 2/3 innings until they handed him a blown save in Chicago last April. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hunter got a double off Marmol here in Houston last July, but Marmol saved a 5-2 win. And he gets a strikeout. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for Marmol. Still strikeouts for Cubs pitching tonight.
Threw a couple of fastballs up in the zone to Hunter to start the at-bat, and he had pretty good swings at him. Just couldn't quite square the ball up, and then he comes back with this nasty slider. That's just a tough pitch.
Carlos Lee 2 for 4. That's strike 1 to him. He is 3 for 19 against Marmol. One and 1 the last 7 outings for Marmol against the Astros. Produced scoreless ball last year. And the Cubs bullpen was really putting things together. They finished the year with 28 consecutive scoreless innings. 1-2. Marmol, 28 years old, from the Dominican.
This usually does not express much displeasure with the home plate umpire, but clearly not happy with that call from Gary Darling. Trying to react a little bit more in this kind of a situation.
Wallace on deck. Count holding at 1-2. Marmol has 3 saves in 4 opportunities this year. Upstairs with that one. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's just not a comfortable at bat for a right-handed hitter because of his delivery. So even when he makes a bad pitch, he usually gets away with it.
Line to short. Well, that was a great swing. But Starlin Castro was in front of it. 2 outs.
Well, that wasn't a bad pitch. That was a good pitch. Slider down and away. Carlos went out and hit it hard.
Now it's Brett Wallace. Jeff Fulcino warming up for Houston. Wallace is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. Looking at strike 1. He's facing Marmol for the first time. It's 1-1. Jason Michaels on deck. Pitcher spot due up next for the Astros. Pena very close to the line at first. That's a strike on appeal to the third base umpire, Rob Drake.
I hate the Drake. The arms go, but the hands stay back. It's been, a little further than I initially thought.
Wallace fouls it. Cubs are trying to get back to 500. The Astros got 3 in the 7th. Now trying to create a real problem for the Cubs if they can tie it here in the 9th. And tap foul. If they could tie it against Marmol, and now it's a different situation.
Yeah, if nothing else, the middle of the order is getting some looks at him. They're seeing some pitches from him. So if he's in a similar situation later in the series, maybe that could pay off.
Yeah, he's thrown 20 pitches.
Tough at bat wall he's putting up here.
2-2. The crowd has seen a ball game which started out 5-0 Cubs. Now 5-4. Wallace fouls this one out of play.
You know, demeanor will only get you so far in this game. You have to have the ability. But I said it last year, and Brett Wallace, for a guy who hasn't been around very long at the big league level, it's very calm in these situations. A lot of confidence.
He hits it sharply into right field. Pena was playing him toward the line, and Wallace now has a 5-game hitting streak.
They're going to defend the double down the line, so Pena stays tight, gives him a little more room in that hole. And now Jason Bourgeois will come in and try to steal the bag here.
Why not?
Nice job, Brett Wallace. Good at bat. A nice win for Wallace.
Pinch runner Jason Bourgeois aboard. Pinch hitter Jason Michaels is batting.
Jason Bourgeois thrown out the other night in a similar situation. at the end of a ball game. But that doesn't mean you stop trying.
Well, as you pointed out, it's so difficult to hit Marmol. Michaels with 7 career pinch homers is 0 for 6 in his career with a walk against Marmol. But if you can think about stealing a base, getting a single to tie it.
He was thrown out on a pitch out. Now that it's 2 balls and no strikes, the Cubs aren't going to pitch out. So if you're Brad Mills, you think of one or two things. Well, if ever Jason Michaels was going to get a triple pitch to hit, it would be 2 balls and no strikes. But I don't know if such a thing exists with Marmol, because it's not like he's a command guy. You know, he's just throwing sliders and fastball. He's not looking to throw the ball over the heart of the plate anyway. So, but the chances that Quaddy would pitch out here are pretty much nil. So if you look at if the thinking was to steal a bag, this would be the time to go. But again, you could also do it on 2-1. Likely he wouldn't pitch out on 2-1 either. So he might give Jason one swing here and then send him on the next pitch.
Now 2-1.
Yeah, he just thought there's a 2-0 slider in there, so he's not going to give in. To me, this is the pitch you got to go on. Go ahead and try to steal his base.
And he was thrown out in the Friday night game, the 4-3 Florida win. For the final out, he goes. And he will make it without a throw from Soto.
He's not even covering the bag out there.
Now 3-1.
Basically, Mike Quaddy saying, go ahead, take that base. I'm going to defend the field. I'm going to keep my infielders at home and just trust my pitcher to beat your hitter.
3rd steal for Bourgeois. And now a walk brings Englert to the plate. And Michaels delivering as a pinch hitter, reaching base.
Good night for the guys off the bench tonight.
It has been. Englert is 0 for 1 in his career. A strikeout against Marmol. Tonight he's 1 for 4.
I like Englert in this situation, though. I like the guys with the short strokes that don't try to do too much against a guy like Marmol. And that's the kind of hitter Joe Englert is. And he's also a guy, because of his experience as a pinch hitter, has been in this situation a fair bit. You know, late inning situation against top flight closer.
28 pitches for Marmol. Mark Riggins out. Bourgeois with very good speed on at second. Englert hit a deep drive to right field, caught on the warning track in the 5th inning, and got his single in the 8th. Off Barney's glove into right. Strike on the fastball from Marmol. Good ball game tonight. Astros about hit the Cubs 10-8. This will be the 25th pitch coming of the inning.
Good swing. Quick stroke right there.
Yes, he was very quick on that. 0-2 now.
Yep. That's battle time. We see the limited motion. Just trust in the hands.
Strike 3 call to end it. And Carlos Marmol gets Englert looking with 2 men on. With the Cubs winning at 5-4, Ryan Dempster had to suffer through some Astros rallies to get his first win of the year, with Nelson Figueroa taking the loss. Final score, Cubs 5, Astros 4.